watching The 7 from WATE 6 on your side.
Good evening, I'm Bo Williams, and welcome to The 7. We start each night with a list of the Big 7 stories for your community, and tonight, that's a double murder case now moving into the courtroom. Families of the victims getting to sit in front of the suspect in court this morning. J.R. Martin is accused of the deaths of Heidi Johnson and her friend Madison Johnson. Martin faces 2 counts of first-degree murder plus drug and gun charges. The 2 women were found dead back on May 13th at a home on Woodlawn Pike. That's where officers have been called to check on a report of a domestic disturbance. Today, we could hear the emotions family members were coping with as they had to share the same space with the accused killer.
I am here because if Madison and Heidi can't be out doing what they would want to be doing, then I don't think Mr. Martin should be able to be out doing what he wants to be doing.
I got to look in the murderer's eyes today in this courtroom for the first time and shared breath with him. There's some things that we do know. My daughter's gone and will no longer be with us.
Martin was granted bond set at $2 million. His case was bound over to the grand jury and is awaiting now a trial date. A hearing on the gun and drug charges was reset for 3 weeks from today. Of course, we'll keep following this case for you as it moves through the court system. Our next big story for you tonight, an update to breaking news from last night at 11 o'clock. A wanted man on the run in Blount County has now been taken into custody with the help of U.S. Marshals. We've been telling you about the hunt for 49-year-old Jeffrey Potter. The Blount County Sheriff's Office said he was wanted on warrants for violating community supervision and felony evading arrest. Deputies and U.S. Marshals found him around 2:30 this afternoon. We're told he was inside a home in Townsend. Now, his brother, 52-year-old Larry Potter, was also on the run but taken into custody Tuesday, charged with 3 counts of solicitation of a minor. We're told deputies started looking into him after a complaint about sexual text messages allegedly sent to an underage girl. We're getting new TCAP numbers in our next Big 7 at 7 story for you. The Tennessee Department of Education sharing statewide data on TCAP retake results. 3rd grade students participated in the retake as a way to move on to the 4th grade. This is the 3rd grade retention law is now in place. In Knox County schools, we're told 51.7% of students opted to take the retest. Of those, 16.2% achieved a score of exceeds or meets. Now, those scores were needed to move on to the next grade. For a full list of results by district, visit the Department of Education's website. Our next Big 7 story is developing as we speak. The Knox County School Board is meeting with one of the topics on the agenda, improvements to special education offerings. That meeting is happening right now, and you're looking at a live picture from inside the board's room there in downtown Knoxville. Now, we've been following this since February for you when parents of some children on the autism spectrum went before the school board asking them to consider a special education task force. Last month, that group became a reality. The goal of this new task force will be to improve special education services and supports for both KCS students and their families. A Greenville man sentenced to 87 months behind bars after an inmate overdose death at a state prison. During the trial, court documents showed 2 inmates were taken to a hospital for fentanyl overdoses. One of them has died. Now, during the investigation, it was revealed 45-year-old Michael Wayne Lee, also an inmate, used a cell phone to talk with 70-year-old Deborah Kathleen Vicasi. This was back in May of 2020. She was able to get the drugs and then take them to Carter County, hiding them in tennis balls, which were thrown over a security fence and into the recreation yard. Inmates would collect the tennis balls for Lee, who would then distribute the drugs. A search of Vicasi's cell phone included text messages between her and Lee about the operation. Vicasi from Knoxville was also convicted and sentenced to 28 months. Neighbors clashing with a fast food chain's plans. That's our next Big 7 at 7 story for you tonight. The focus of that clash just up the street from us here in North Knoxville. At the corner of North Broadway and Edgewood Avenue, you might see a Cookout in the near future. Some residents not very keen on having another fast food chain pop up. One reason brought up, the heavy traffic that could be forced to navigate a small neighboring road.
There's already considerable traffic issues on that road, and so I'm worried about that. But I'm also worried about the character of the neighborhood, and I think we already have a lot of fast food places, The proposal passing in today's Planning Commission by a vote of 12 to 1.
And our final Big 7 story for you tonight, Knox County is setting aside a day to remember a beloved member of the community who passed away last year. Brandon Gibson was an accomplished actor, singer, writer, essayist who served as the managing director for the Marble City Opera. Gibson passed away last November at the age of 36. Today would have been his 37th birthday. And now Knox County is honoring Gibson's life and the art he brought to the community by proclaiming today, June 8th, 2023, as Brandon Gibson Day.
He was extremely meaningful to me, one of my best friends in the entire world. And to be able to have this day that is being proclaimed as Brandon Gibson Day is extremely meaningful. It was his favorite day of the entire year. He didn't just think about his birthday once a year. He thought about it all year long.
The proclamation from the Knox County Commission declaring today as Brandon Gibson Day highlights the artist's many achievements as well as the bright light he brought to the Knoxville entertainment scene.